Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jag from Jaggy Sports. Just in case you guys missed it last night, the Sixers defeated the Nets 110 to 108, but that was not the highlight of last night's game. Let's take a look at what was.
Gamesmanship at the end and the chatter at the end of the ball game.
What you gotta, if you've been watching Joel and I play against each other, it's been like that every game, even the All-Star game. We just respect each other so much that natural competitive fire, I guess, comes out, So it's the name of the game. And letting them know we coming with the same energy. I like the energy that they play with tonight. You love competition. It's only going to make you better.
If you remember,
knowing how much you love to battle and compete, missing the last 2 weeks, how good did it feel, even though it was a loss, but how good did it feel to get back in the flow of things?
It's always good to play, Tonight's game was fun to be a part of, but, I think we shot ourselves in the foot throughout this game. But it was good to be back.
At the end of the game, you see Joel Embiid saying, okay, go home, go home, go home.
Kevin, you gone against Joel a lot of years. Did anything he say tonight cross any line at all?
Nah, hell no. He didn't really say nothing. I think I just was turned up, I'm just trying to, no matter what, we down 8-10, they got the game in control, so, we still let them know we still here, I guess. So, nah, he didn't say nothing across the line. We all respect each other out there. We respect this team. I respect all the players on this team and vice versa. So just how we play.
We haven't had a chance to talk to you yet since yesterday, but how did you think Kyrie looked after being back and practicing?
He looked great. He looked great. And I don't know, he wants to, probably play a little bit more before he get into game situations, but he looked great to me.
Kevin, do you think anything with you and Joel maybe stem from the previous game against the Sixers where you were waving him off the floor?
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't like that. But I'm glad that can bring the best out of my opponent, and then come out here and play extremely hard. Like I said, it's only going to make me better as a player and us better as a team. So, yeah, of course they felt the way about that. But I told them I'm going to keep the same energy regardless, win or lose. I'm going to still be me.
And then Steve had said you guys had the 5-6 point leads that just couldn't really extend and keep them in the game. What do you think kind of prevented that tonight?
Yeah, I think we were up 6 and we had a rebound in our hand, and me and James was, fumbled it, and they got a 3 out of that. I think they just hit timely threes. You look at the stat sheet, they shot 42% from the field, which is solid. 30 under 40 most of the game. But you look at their total points off the turnovers, it's 7-point difference, and then they hit 6 more threes than us, So a few times we left Maxey. Maxey was hot tonight, and a few times we left him open, and he made timely threes. George's name, played his role to a T and made threes, So you got to give him credit for a good win.
I'll kind of following up on that. How did Maxey end up getting open for those threes, kind of from the same spot over and over?
Yeah, we Joel is tough to stop in the post, and we wanted to send a couple guys, and, they did a good job of making adjustments and cutting different ways, So, they play against doubles with Joel all the time, So they figured it out, and they was able to make some shots. Seth hit some big shots, hit a big 3 there, coming off that screen, So that's what this league about, make or miss.
And just obviously all the time since the last time you played, what were you kind of able to do at home since you weren't able to come into the practice facility in Durant?
Nothing. Nothing
at all. Like you can work out at home or.
I don't got no gym at the house. You know what I'm saying? So, I really didn't. Once I was cleared to come back to the gym, the training staff did an incredible job of helping me ramp up, playing games, a couple of workouts, So, I feel good, but it's going definitely next game it'll be better, and the game after that it'll be better, So.
Just want to follow up quickly on the Kyrie stuff, because James said the same thing. He said he looked elite yesterday in practice. Why are you guys so confident that you can keep that continuity with someone who's only going to be there half the time?
Have you watched him play? He's a master. He can score 60%, 70% of his shots if you don't guard him. And he's a high IQ player. So, and it's just a matter of him just getting his legs up under him and his wind up under him. And for us, we're gonna run plays for him. We're gonna try to look for him, and we play team basketball. So, but he's he can adapt and do anything out there, so we're not worried about him.
I know you guys felt it was coming, but you see a different James these last few games? What are you seeing different with James?
Yeah, I mean, you're just more confident and just everything you do. I mean, that's half the battle as an NBA player, just building that confidence and then knowing how you're going to approach every game. I think all of us, as the season started to go, this early season, we're starting to figure out what our roles are and what we need to do as individuals, even the main guys on the floor, so. But you look great to me, man. Rebounding, pushing the pace, getting to the paint, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
Had your moments and couldn't quite pull away. From your perspective, what kept you from getting that separation you needed?
Have a really good game after a really good first quarter. But we climbed back in the game. We did a really good job of just locking down defensively and doing what we're supposed to do. Obviously, 16 points in that second quarter. We got a chance in that third quarter. I think we went up 8 or something. I can't remember what it was, but we just allowed them to get offensive rebounds and more shots at the rim than us, more shots in general after us. And you can't allow a team like that, especially with the shooting that they have, and then obviously, Joel.
On the offensive side, the turn.
Just decision making. I had a couple that I wish I could have got back. That's the game right there. We talked about it in training camp. Turnovers and rebounding the basketball, not allowing opposing teams to get so many more shots than us, and tonight was a case of that.
James, since we haven't seen you since yesterday, how did you think Kyrie looked in practice?
Like Kyrie? Elite.
Did you get a chance to talk to him much? I know a lot of guys have said they got a couple minutes with him. It was just nice to see him again in the building.
Yeah, I mean, same Kyrie. We're just happy to have him back. Now we got to get him on the court and get this thing going.
What's up, James? Sorry if somebody asked you this already, but I guess what happened with Maxey down the stretch? How did he keep getting open?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't watched the film yet, but I mean, he knocked down some big-time shots, a couple threes, and more than a couple. I think he had 3-4 threes in that fourth quarter. Pull up. He was being ultra aggressive, which he's been their starting point guard for the entire year. So he has that green light to attack the basket and to shoot his shot. But we climbed back in the game. We did a really good job of just locking down defensively and doing what we're supposed to do. Obviously, 16 points in that second quarter. We got a chance in that third quarter. I think we went up 8 or something. I can't remember what it was, but we just allowed them to get offensive rebounds and more shots at the rim than us, more shots in general after us. And you can't allow a team like that, especially with the shooting that they have, and then obviously, Joel.
So here's the thing, and I had this discussion on a previous video. Imagine if Daryl Morey would have traded Ben Simmons about a month ago for, a couple assets here and there kind of thing. Let's just say I gave you guys a list yesterday of five individuals. Shea Alexander. Let's just say if they traded Ben Simmons for Shea Alexander and maybe like 3-4 other picks. That's fine. The picks come in the future. But let's just say this. Shea Alexander, has, qualities and potential to be a star, if not a superstar. And if he was in that same game versus the Nets, just imagine what the difference between the margin would be. Would it be stretched or would it be, shortened? So I fully believe that the Nets, who actually had everyone except for Kyrie, and the Sixers, who had everyone except for Ben Simmons, if Ben Simmons got traded and if the Sixers were with Shea Alexander, they would have, defeated KD and Harden altogether by a lot more than 8 points. And the same goes for Jaylen Brown. The same goes for Damian Lillard. The same goes for Bradley Beal. It's quite the potential of what the Sixers could be if they actually trade away Ben Simmons indeed. And I am just as eager to find out what Daryl Morey has to do, has to say, and has to trade for, because there was a consensus amongst the NBA executives, and they all think that Ben Simmons will get traded before the trade deadline, a little bit before, and they're not going to drag this on, because just think about it this way. Daryl Morey saw what the Sixers can do without Ben Simmons, and just he's probably thinking, okay, I got to trade this guy right away, because at the end of the day, we could make a run for the finals if we get the right piece. And just imagine if they trade for Bradley Beal, Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal, and maybe like another pick or something. I don't know, right? Like, Bradley Beal makes a lot more than Ben Simmons, so the salary caps would have to work in that favor. But if I'm Daryl Morey, I gotta be thinking, I need to trade this guy fast, because I need to compete with the Nets. And last night's game proved that they can compete with the Nets. They can compete with the KD and James Harden. And I know what people are thinking. They're probably thinking, like, hey, whatever, Kyrie wasn't playing. Well, guess what? Kyrie can't. He can only play road games. He can't play home games. So it doesn't matter if Kyrie comes back, because at the end of the day, he's only there part-time. And those part-time games that he's not there, look for the Sixers to fully take advantage. So last night's game proved to everyone that Joel Embiid is in his prime and he's ready to take it to the finals. Daryl Morey, we're all waiting on you, man. We're all waiting on you to make that trade and pull that trigger. This is Jag Mangat, Jaggy Sports. See you guys all next year. Happy New Year.